Welcome to today's bite-size battle report. Today, Davey and I are going to be practicing some UKTC style lists on conversion. I'm getting ready for the Southampton GT. We're going to be running Drukhari into the Tyranids. 2,000 points of Drukhari with some cheeky Harlequins allies. I ran this a little bit actually before the Harlequins Codex came out, in sort of middle of night. So I'm quite excited to relive it and bring it back. I'm going wide on that concept. So this is very much about obsec bodies in boats, lots and lots of MSU to spread out across the board, do actions, shut down the opponent's scoring, and it's got plenty of cutting edge hidden away in the units as well. So I've got 5 squads of Obsidian Rose Cabalites with blasters, blast pistols, and phantasm. One of them is bare bones, and they are riding in a series of venoms and raiders. These are very much tooled up as well, so we've got chain snares, grizzly trophies, phantasm, shock prow, all the toys to make sure that the vehicles are doing the job and punching above their weight as they ferry my units around the board. Then we've got Drazar, a succubus with precision blows and the triptych whip, classic combination, and 15 incubi. So there's a big chunk of melee punch there for anything that gets too close. The Harlequins contingent backing it up has 3 troops. These have got fusion pistols in each. 2 of them have 4 melee weapons, 1 of them has 2. They're all going to be riding in Star Weavers. And we've got a Shadow Seer who brings some psychic potential, a little bit of sort of supported buffs for this Harlequin unit. And she's got Twilight Pathways and Shards of Light. Now Shards of Light coupled with the Grizzly Trophies means I can have some stuff on the board at -4 leadership. Quite fun into some of the current meta threats. Also means that Phantasm really does go off and get those mortal wounds through when you need it as well. It's a fun list, it covers the ground, it's very quick, it can affect the board all over the place. Oh, sorry guys, there's 3 Reavers who will be dying to score behind enemy lines at some point in the game. That's all they're there for. They do it really well. I was tempted to bring 2 packs to do it twice, but I think once is probably enough. So yeah, excited to give this a run. Really looking forward to running it at Southampton. Let's see how it goes into the Tyranids. Here we have a lovely, well-lit 2,000 point Tyranids list. Davey, what does a Tyranids look like in Arcs of Omen?
Oh,
what are they packing?
Well, they look interesting. So, what have we got here? We've got Mark Parker's GT winning list.
Oh, the Mark Parker.
The
wow.
Mark Parker.
Nice.
Apparently, he's a Tyranid long-term advocate, so big chops to him.
Yeah, lovely.
So, this list is a Leviathan list, boo hiss. So, what that means is everything has everything has transhuman, everything with synapse, and anything without has mini transhuman. The only thing that doesn't have any transhuman are these guys, because GWFA kid stuff and went, that's fine. So what have we got? We've got 2 Hive Tyrants, both of them rocking a different relic gun each. We've got Shard Gullet and the Bilthorn Cannon.
Wonderful.
The one with the Shard Gullet has Obsec 5,
okay.
And the one with the Bilthorn Cannon has a 5-up, Feel No Pain.
Oh, lovely.
To back up these 2, we've got 5 Tyrant Guards on correct size bases for the first time
big
in their
slab.
life.
Lovely.
I've played all of 9th with them on the wrong bases. Good times. So yeah, and basically they are going to bodyguard those Hive Tyrants. We've then got 3 Zoanthropes.
Yep.
Zoanthropes obviously a lot more expensive now, but
yes,
these guys are going to give me that imperative for a invuln for 1 turn for everything.
Yeah.
And they can also smite the buggery out of something.
It's still so invaluable, I think, to have that in fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then we go into our troops. So we have 3, pick a mix of gaunts. We've got 10 Termagants, 10 Gargoyles, 10 Hormagaunts.
This is the least gaunts I've ever seen you run.
I know. Well, except when I was running Warrior spam.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, it's a weird feeling. I won't lie. You either want loads or none.
Yeah.
And this is in between, so I'm still learning here. So they're going to do gaunt things. Then we have 1 unit of Carnifexes, so that's 2 Carnifexes. They've all got enhanced senses, so they hit on 3s, and they have heavy venom cannons.
Lovely, punchy stuff.
Indeed. Then we have 2 separate Carnifexes. One of them has chitin horns, which is not That's how we're differentiating it. Those don't look like they do much damage if they charge.
No, they don't. They don't.
But essentially, they're exactly the same, except he has an extra AP on his attacks.
Fantastic.
And then finally, something you might have noticed in this picture are 2 harpies.
They're back.
They're back.
They're back from the dead.
So they come in on turn 2.
Yeah, they do.
And then they do stuff.
Scary stuff.
Which is probably what a lot of people might have done with them anyway in some matchups. One of them, which is, we're going to say the one without broken wings. Well, actually, he has got a broken one. The one with brighter wings has got the upgrade to give it synapse.
Oh, yeah, lovely. Very good.
So that one's going to be transhuman, this one's going to be mini transhuman.
Perfect, okay.
And then my adaptive as well actually is just the Leviathan one, so I get 1 free reroll, but reroll to hit per
shot
unit,
or fight or per
activation.
For whenever they do a thing, right?
And that is my list.
It's interesting. It's punchy. It's got a lot of monsters. I'm very curious to see what the secondary game here is. But it's obviously it's going to trade on the durability and power that Leviathan has, and between the transhuman and the invuln, there is going to be a turn in the game where this can tank an inordinate amount of damage. So it's a very interesting list to see, and we will see how it goes into elves, especially the harpies, because historically harpies love elves. Let's see how they find them now. Okay, here we are. It's deployment. We're all finished. The elves have stashed boats of all descriptions around all the little nooks and crannies they can hide in, looking to wait and see what the staging opportunities are. And then Tyranids have put a big old castle of things just in behind this nice safe L here, but they've also got a little sort of outflanking side here as well. Davey, do you want to talk us through the secondary game? What have the Nids gone with?
Sure. So we have gone with grind them down.
Yep.
I feel like with my shooting, I should be able to do a couple of, get rid of a couple of boats.
Absolutely. Yep.
I've kind of twin-linked that with bring it down.
Yep.
And then we have warp ritualing.
Oh, very nice. Good.
For want of a better option, really. But you have got a deny, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we've gone with behind enemy lines, we're going to be throwing stuff into the deployment zone, which actually does give Davey some opportunities with Grime. We've gone take them alive, the Drukhari secondary, which is all about killing monsters and characters in combat. So I'll be hunting for some of these big monsters on the Nid side. And we have also gone for retrieve battlefield data, because I've got lots of little MSU bodies. What's in reserve for the Tyranids, Davey?
We have 2 harpies in reserve and 2 carnifexes.
Oh, there's a lot in reserves. Yeah, that's nice. That makes it very difficult for me to approach, not knowing where all the guns are going to come flying in from. So we'll see how that goes. We'll have the first turn roll off in just a moment. Let's find some dice. There's my Outlaw's dice. Loves rolling 6s this. Right, here we go.
Boom.
That's a 2. Oh, where's he gone?
Oh, 2.
2, get out my brain.
Boom. Let's go. Oh my god.
Oh, 2 6s. Oh, we've captured one of these on camera. I can't believe it. 5-3. Elves turn 1. Here we go. So, the end of the elf movement phase is also pretty much the end of the turn. There's not really anything exciting happening. We have thrown some Reavers into here. So they are scoring behind enemy lines. They've used their nice 28-inch advance to get in here. And the plus side is that I'm blocking this entranceway, so any big monsters aren't getting too far across the board this turn. And they're going to die, inevitably, but they will slow the Nids up a little bit as they do it. And what we've done is throw some of my massive flotilla of boats into the corners to take the objectives on the flanks, set up the Raiders in counter-attack position just off the centre, and the Harleys in counter-attack position just off the centre down here. So we've staged very aggressively. We haven't actually caused any damage, but we are asking, I'd say, a few questions. And it's all about what the Tyranids do to answer them in their turn 1. So the Tyranid turn 1 was very snappy as well. So we've presented with you with the fait accompli. And Davey's done a few cool things. Davey, you want to tell people what you've done?
Yeah, Tom's very kind to say it was snappy. I think I deliberated for at least half an hour. So what we've done is we've just moved up to touch that terrain piece. Of course, not finishing off this squad of Gaunts will be fine if Tom wants to do that, because I definitely can't regrow them back. We've kind of shuffled around a little bit, moving away this way a bit. We got rid of the
the Reavers died a turn 1 death, as is their way in life.
Finished them off with the troop slot, so I get the CP for grind.
Yeah, very nice.
And then we charged in the Hormigans here. I've touched both boats. They killed 3. I put the boat on 1 wound, which was more than I could ever hope for. But essentially, I just wanted to kind of get this objective.
Yep.
And yeah, I lost 3, so I had to auto pass it for 2CP, auto pass the unit for 2CP to keep them on the objective.
Yeah, because the play here is that I can't get a troop out next turn at the moment. There's nowhere to actually put them to disembark without using the strat for the longer disembarkation, whatever it is, which I don't really want to do. Actually, I don't even know if you can use that when you're just getting out when it explodes. But yeah, so the stuff in the Venom's still free to act, but Davey has stopped me from just going on the offensive here with the troop, which is, I think, a smart play.
Yeah, it's about trying to put Tom on as low a primary as possible without losing any assets.
Yeah, he's trying to play cagey. He's playing the longer game here, thinking about that endgame swing, and he knows he's got a big punch coming out the reserves in a bit. Got Carnifexes coming in, Harpies coming in, so I need to bear all that in mind in my turn 2. So here we are at the end of the Drukhari and Harlequin's turn 2 movement phase. We're having a nibble over here. We've sent some transports, some Quins to go and have a bite for behind enemy lines, but also try and get rid of these gargoyles, because I know that Davey will use them for mission play all game if he can get away with it, so I need to put a dent in them. I've gone and got out an RBD down in here. We've moved some boats out to a bit of speculative shooting, try and whittle down some hive guard. Succubus is going to get out and just make sure these Hormigans go away. Tried to position so that I'm okay for Davey's beta strike, but if he hits me really hard, it's going to be interesting. Just trying to keep on annoying on the scoring and causing problems, so we'll see how we go. It is the end of Drukhari turn 2, and we have whittled away. We have killed the gargoyles. The Harlequin troop went in, did its job with a bit of sort of mortal wound support to get rid of those, and have scored me a nice behind enemy line and got me a CP here as well. The Venom has helped out. And then we've got the Succubus has cleared off the Hormigans over here. So that got me a point for take them alive. So we're continuing to tick up on the scoring. And really, I mean, the big question now is what this big flying reserve strike of Carnifexes and Harpies can do. Because I've got a lot of very vulnerable stuff scattered around the board. So it's all about how Davey leverages this in his turn 2. We've got bugs. There's loads of bugs. They're coming in off the edges. Davey, take us through what's going on.
Oh God, I'd be damned if I know. Right, so basically I've slotted in my deep strike and my strategic reserves kind of where I can fit them in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get as many angles on things as possible so that I can literally destroy as much as
trying to basically do a huge demecking, aren't you, this time?
Yes. The next, so if we go from the left, we've got, from over here, we've got 2 Carnifexes here. They've got a view on the boat here, potentially even the boat there.
Yep.
Or worst case scenario, these guys here. Of course, this Carnifex can shoot there as well. This Harper can shoot the guys over there. All these boats. We've got the Hive Tyrant can shoot over there. This Hive Tyrant can shoot through there to this boat all the way over here. You know, we've got.
There's a lot of angles. Yeah, a lot of angles.
That's what this list wants to do, right? It wants to shoot as much as possible. We've got smites on these Harlequins here. Hopefully that gets rid of them.
Oh yeah, I think so.
We've got some backup redundancy for that as well. And of course we've got charges. So potentially we can get a charge from this Hive Tyrant onto this objective. We've got these Tyrant Guard into this boat and then swing round onto here. Yeah. This guy's OBSEC 5, he can get onto there. Of course, I'd rather he didn't because he's going to get Drazad in the face.
That is his destiny, I'm telling you now. He's got a date with Draz, so, without a doubt.
I've lost my my gargoyle buffing unit, or debuff unit.
Yes.
So yeah, I've got a lot of work to do this turn and hopefully we can do some.
Yeah. So here we are at the end of Tyranids turn 2. And some Carnifexes have crashed onto here. Transports have died, stuff has spilled out. There were some explosions. We had a chain explosion of vehicles that have taken wounds off the Succubus and the Carnifexes. The Nid shooting had a bit of bad luck, didn't it, Davey? You weren't rolling great, and I was rolling like filth on my 5-up invuns.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. The -1 to hit and no rerolls on some of the...
Yeah, the Starweavers.
Yeah, Starweavers, which was pretty rough. But, you know, it's one of those things.
A lot of the boats are damaged now, though, and they're not going to be around for much longer. And you've retaken this point with the Hive Tyrant, and you have also retaken the middle. So a lot of elf assets have died. It's been a very violent turn. Davey scored grind. He scored well on Bring It Down. But he is now going to take a bit of a melee push from a lot of the elf stuff, and it's just what kind of game state we have after that, I think.
Yeah, I've got a thin papery veil now.
Yeah.
And if that goes, if you pop
It's
that,
like a big line of monsters, and it's just whether we can get through them in our turn.
Annoyingly, I did use my last CP, which would have given me interrupt.
Oh, yep, okay.
So that is disappointing. But
That's going to hurt. Yeah, we'll see. We will see how we go. End of movement for the Drukhari in turn 3, and we have popped out to say hello. Some Incubi survivors, a troop and Drazar are going after this Hive Tyrant over here. Some Incubi are going to have a go at the Hive Guard, in the centre. And then we've got an assortment of baddies led by the Succubus and some shooting lined up to try and put a big dent in these Carnifexes in the corner. If this goes well, should be able to make it so that the Nids are going to really struggle for assets to keep fighting with. But we're very fragile, so if we bounce, we are going to die. So it's a question of seeing how the combat, and we've got quite a lot of punchy shooting. It's how the Dark Lances and Fusion Pistols get on with these big carapaces. So we'll see how we go. It's been a very big turn for the Drukhari and the Harlequins. We rolled extremely hot on the psychic powers. This Shadowseer one-shot a Carnifex between a Super Smite and Shards of Light, which is pretty ridiculous. And then the Fusion Pistols took out another one over here, and then the Dark Lancers and everything else did for that guy in the corner with some cheeky Phantasm mortal wounds as well. The Nid's low leadership does not like Phantasm. Down here, Drazar killed a Hive Tyrant because he's Drazar, and the Twilight Harlequins were then free to go yeeting over here and tag on to this central objective and make trouble. So we pushed the Nids back really hard here, and it's going to be about what the remaining Nid bugs and the Harpies can do to salvage the situation. The Elves are all out now, so they're very fragile and very vulnerable. Let's see how it goes in Nid's turn 3. At the end of Tyranids' turn 3, they have killed the Incubi off of here, but Drazar has survived. Shadowseer has been murdered by a Harpy in cold-blooded revenge. All the remaining Raiders are dead, and the Hive Tyrant went in here and didn't quite manage to kill enough of the troop to retake this point. So that's quite big because it cost Davey both grind and corrupted ground.
So, the Psyker, the boat, the boat,
yeah,
the squad. 5.
He has got grind. He saved it for the video to surprise me. Yay! Okay, well, there we go. That's good. So things are looking up for the Tyranids. They've scored grind them down. And they aren't going to be able to prevent the hold more because there's still Elves just clogging up the mid-board at the moment. And it's all going to be about this duel between Draz and the second Hive Tyrant in the centre. End of turn 4 movement for the Drukhari. Drazar is coming to have a word with his second Hive Tyrant of the evening. We're lining up to take some pot shots to try and put one of these Harpies down. One of the Harlequin troops has gone to keep the behind enemy line scoring going. We are very much running out of assets here. We've been hurt really badly. Everything has died. But we're hoping to put the Tyrant away and make the secondary scoring for Davey really difficult. That will be a big determinant in this, I think. If he can live, take that centre, it's very big for Davey. If he dies, it's very bad. It's the end of the turn. There he is, my beautiful boy. He's done it again. He's ate himself a second Hive Tyrant. That is 2 Hive Tyrants he's taking back with him to Camorra. He's a very happy boy, so that gets me some more points for Take Them Alive. I've RBD'd over here. So the Elves have scored, kept on scoring, and the Nids are very much light on assets now, so we're just going to work out what's plausible for the final couple of rounds of the game. We are now at the end of Tyranids' turn 4, and they did come back swinging. So they retook the centre. Some zone throws headbutted us Harlequin to death to finish the job over here. And the Cabalites and my backfield objective have fallen to this Harpy over here. The boat survived on 1 wound, which is great for me. I've still got some forces over here, so we're just into the very final swings here just to work out what the final scores are. It is round 5, and it is the last-ditch charge of the surviving Elves into the centre to try and put this Carnifex in a bag and take him home. Can they do it? We've got the last behind enemy lines. The Succubus is on bagging duty because Draz got run over. So it's just whether we can score a few more points for Take Them Alive. I'm going to try and soften him up with some blasters first so that she can have a better chance at putting him down. So we'll see how that goes.
I thought I had a 12 on primary.
We've had one of those. She has, against all the odds, made the charge, survived a Venom Cannon on Overwatch, and then done the job in combat with a little bit of luck on Davey's save. So that is another bug in the bag, in the bug bag. The bug bag is full. I mean, we're going to get absolutely rolled now. So it's going to be Nid's turn 5 in the cleanup, and we'll see how we go. We are going into the final turn for the Tyranids. The Harpies are out, the Termagants are out, and it's just time to slap pain on the Elves. Thus ends the Tyranid turn. The Succubus has been flattened by a Harpy. Termagants come rushing out to claim the centre ground. The Nids get a nice bunch of primary points at the end, and Max grind them down. But it isn't quite enough. I think the score finishes 84-67. So we'll take a pause, and then we'll be back with a brief debrief on the game. Davey.
Right.
How do you feel that went? What's your reflection on the game?
Tough one. I think obviously I scored nothing on War Patrol, which was really the big change and primary. And just not having the OBSEC against an army with so many little trading units.
Yeah, so much MSU. Yeah.
And I do think your list is probably a tough matchup for this.
Yeah, in certain ways, right? They're both tough for each other. I mean, you have killed basically everything. I'm down to like my last 100 and something points. But it's the fact, as you say, that I can be giving away units and trading them for points and stopping your score all game.
And you've got this wonderful ability to reduce efficacy of shooting, right?
Yeah, all the negatives on the shooting. I mean, you had particularly bad dice with the venom cannons and things like that, just wouldn't hit. Your go turn, probably if you popped a couple more boats, makes it much peakier because I'm less mobile. But yeah, it's not great for the low volume Nid shooting, is it? I don't think.
I think maybe we were talking before about this being a beta list. Like second turn you go ham and go crazy, but I don't think you have enough time to do it. I think you have to go turn one, and then everything else can catch up after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting one. Still learning how to play this list. Not sure if I'm going to take it to this RCT at the weekend. I might try and switcheroo my list if I've got time. But it is good, and it definitely has legs. I'd love to play it into Tau or a Marine build.
Be interesting to try it into some of the other gunline type stuff and see how it does, rather than a bunch of sneaky elves. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the Drukhari list, the Harlequin list. I think it does what it does very well. It's not a high scorer, right? It's not GSC. I'm not going to be putting those high 90s up very often, but it can beat the opponent is the main thing. It can shut down the primary, play the mission very well. This was quite a nice matchup because the Nid monsters mean I could take them alive, so I had a third secondary shored up. Shadow Seer was obviously a massive hero as well, stopping Warp Ritual and doing some psychic damage. And it's just nice to have Draz out, and Draz just killing away at big bugs. Very fun. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how my list gets on. It feels like a sort of mid-range kind of list. It should be able to compete in the mid tables, but whether it will be able to deal with any of the top lists at the moment, we will see.
What do you think about your R&D versus banners?
In that particular game, well, I mean, I guess you'd never have taken the back. What would banners have been? Banners would have been... It wouldn't have been much better, if at all. I guess I could have got one up. It took me a little while to actually take this point. I think the nice thing about RBD is I can do it in relative safety for an 8, and then what I need to be doing is getting a boat or a troop up in the air to come down in the final turn to try and score that last one.
Very true.
So that's something I have to remember to do in round 4 or round 3. So that's something for me to remember. I had a troop that could have done it, but I got the sequencing wrong over here. So I think that's an important one. There will be missions where banners make sense if I'm on the defensive and I can hide. But it's just the fact that you can just tick it off a bit at a time while still playing the tit for tat on the primary, I think. I liked having all the transports. I thought the Venoms and the Star Weavers and stuff were a massive pain in the arse.
Huge pain in the ass.
Very annoying.
They're the ones that drive that efficacy as well.
Yeah, all the minus ones.
Especially in a shooting meta. You know, all these melter guns that are going to come at you hitting on 4s rather than 3s. It's really, really powerful.
Yeah, and having the reach and the speed to sort of jump out from hiding. So yeah, it's interesting. We'll see how it gets on. I was very happy with how that performed. And we will have to see how it plays at Southampton at the weekend. Thank you very much for watching. We are 6++, and we will be back again soon with more bite-sized bat reps. Pray they don't take you alive.